Hello YouTubers. Today I'm going to discuss who is the true Israel. Perhaps you have come across this topic before. I encourage everyone to be as objective as possible and realize that ultimately our thoughts and feelings don't really matter. What matters is what the Bible teaches. In Galatians, Paul makes it crystal clear that the promises concerning Abraham's seed had nothing to do with the physical descendants of Abraham. It only concerned one physical descendant, which is Jesus Christ. Notice that Paul says that the promise uses the singular form seed rather than the plural form seeds. In Galatians 3:16 it says, "Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He saith not, and to seeds as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is Christ." The Bible makes clear that those who accept Christ are the ones who are Abraham's seed in Galatians 3:29. Jesus also specifically told the Pharisees, who were direct descendants of Abraham, that if they were really Abraham's children, then they would act like Abraham. He was saying that they weren't really Abraham's seed. Some suggest that both Jews and Christians inherit the promises of Abraham. The only Jews that inherit the promises of Abraham are the ones that accept Jesus. We learn this from Galatians 4. Paul stated that Isaac and Ishmael represented two covenants, namely the Old Testament covenant of law and the New Testament covenant of grace. He states that Ishmael represents the Old Covenant and that Isaac represents the New Covenant. He is teaching that the church is, like Isaac, the children of promise. He also states that the Old Testament covenant represented through Ishmael shall not be heir with Isaac. In other words, the church is the only one that will receive the promises of Abraham. This means that the church is the true Israel. The Bible doesn't really teach that the church replaces Israel, as replacement theology teaches. The Bible teaches what's called covenant theology. In other words, it teaches that the church is the continuation of God's plan to Israel, that the church becomes a part of Israel. In other words, since we have accepted Jesus, we are now members of the Commonwealth and also citizens of Israel. Those who claim to be Israel and yet deny Jesus aren't really Israel. Jesus gives a very strict warning for people who make such claims. He says that those who say they are Jews but aren't will be forced to worship the church, since it was the church he was speaking to in Revelation 3. Romans confirms this. It makes clear that being a Jew on the outside doesn't make you a Jew. Rather, being a Jew on the inside is what makes you a Jew. It has absolutely nothing to do with race. Any Gentile can become a Jew if they accept Jesus. Those who say they are Jews and yet deny Jesus are liars. So, what have we learned? The Israel that God is referring to has nothing to do with being a direct descendant of Abraham. The true Israel is made up of all believers, whether Jew or Gentile. It is only Christians that will have any claim to the promises given to Abraham. It's very much like the child's song. Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Hey, thanks, folks. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe.